friends, family, and strangers on the internet. Stephanie here with part 2 of my travel video documenting my trip from New York all the way to California. In this video though, I have some more tips for you. Tips for traveling by car, tips for traveling alone, tips for traveling in a pandemic. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. I do have some highlights from my recent trip in here, and I apologize that the videos are this way and not this way. They were made originally for Instagram. If you did not see part 1 of the video, check it out in the link below in the description. I visited a lot of fun locations from some of my favorite movies and TV shows. This video though was a lot of driving, so I have tips for you on that. I am on the road. I am stopped at a rest stop in Tennessee, and it's so pretty here. Look, this is at a rest stop and it's just water and mountains. I was originally gonna spend a day in Tennessee, but the place I was gonna go was too far off the highway once I took Nashville off the table because of their COVID numbers. So disappointing. So pretty. Tip number 1, be adaptable with your plans. I planned and replanned this trip dozens of times. I had every version of a 4-day trip all the way up through a 12-day trip, depending on my employment status, depending on COVID numbers. And then towards the end, when I realized what dates I was going to be traveling, right around the inauguration, I also had to keep an eye on current events and even had to skip out on a city or two because of threats of violence. But one of the main things that changed this particular trip was COVID and the COVID numbers going up after the holidays. There are a few cities where there were travel restrictions where I did not feel like I would be able to travel through certain states, particularly New Mexico. They do have quarantine restrictions, and I did not want to worry about not being able to find a hotel, so I did cut New Mexico out of my trip. Arizona I cut out of my trip because their numbers were super high in Arizona, so I did not want to go through that state at all. I also then changed to go from the south up a little bit and over, but ran into then Tennessee also had really high numbers, particularly in Nashville, which is what was on the route. So a few changes were made. I am in the middle of nowhere in Missouri. I drove past St. Louis, kind of like through it. I was going to, in my latest planned version of the trip, there was going to be a stop just off the highway, get a picture with the arch thingy, kind of like I did with the bean thingy in Chicago on the way the other direction before. But after last week, that got taken off the table, so I did not stop. I really didn't stop much of anywhere today. Same plan for tomorrow, just keep driving. I hope it's a peaceful day for everyone. Good morning from the middle of Missouri. It is cold, but it is sunny out, and it is a beautiful day to drive and a beautiful day to welcome some new leadership into this country. It's also the first day I have frost on my car. I've reached that point in the country, so waiting for that to defrost. I've sanitized everything. I picked my mask out for the day. Ready to go. Tip number 2, make sure you have enough refreshments with you in the car. If you like to stop for your meals, you don't need too much food with you, but it is a good idea to make sure you have plenty of water. And if you're a soda drinker, have plenty of soda. That will limit how much time you spend stopped at gas stations and rest stops and getting stuff out of vending machines. It'll save you some money if you have the larger packages already, and it'll save you time when you don't have to stop too often. I made the mistake of not having quite enough water and had to make a stop in the middle of nowhere to get some. Just finished lunch in the middle of nowhere in Kansas. I think it's Salina, Kansas, maybe. Stopped at a Target and stocked up on bottled water because I had run out of that and kind of need to stay hydrated on the road. Also, the mouse of 2013 has come back to haunt me, possibly with some help from his ancestors that have, or from his descendants rather, that have been in our house recently and had made it into the car. I think they stirred up the dog food. The dog food has been in this car since 2013. If you don't know what I'm talking about, have dog food in the ceiling of my car from a mouse, but I never have a problem with turning and seeing or hearing the dog food. But ever since that last mouse recently got into my car, I hear it rustling, and with how windy it is in Kansas, the wind is actually rustling it around as I'm driving. So thank you, mouse. Tip number 3, plan your driving days accordingly. If you know that you're going to be exhausted if you drive several 12-hour days in a row, try to make more stops in between. For this particular trip, I started out with a 12-hour day, but then my next day was broken up into multiple different cities. And then my third day, I only drove 4 hours. But the following day, I drove 11, and then 12, and then 7, and then 5. So I planned my stops in ways that I knew I would not exhaust myself completely. But that doesn't mean you still don't get tired from time to time. I made it to Colorado. I'm in my hotel. I'm going to sleep. That's all I got. Day 6. It was dark when I got here last night, so it was nice this morning waking up to that nice view, but I'm about to hit the road. Today is not too bad of a driving day. I'm only going about 7 hours, so should be a nice day. Tip number 4, eat things that you don't have access to where you live. I love different chains that I have found in different parts of the country. So I will sometimes plan, even if it's a few miles off the highway, stopping at a chain that I don't have access to regularly. I'll also on occasion eat at some diners, drive-ins, and dives places because I love that, which you may have seen in part 1 of this video, but I have come to love Taco John's in particular. It's the little things in life that make me happy, like being able to have tacos for breakfast at 9 a.m. And I don't even mean breakfast tacos, I mean legit like chicken tacos. I've discovered I love Taco John's. I found a chicken salad chick in a strip mall right off the highway, but it's next to a Home Goods, so all of these Karens keep walking past, giving me looks like, why is this girl eating chicken salad in her car? Tip number 5, appreciate the scenery that you are driving near. I have come to love driving through Utah in particular. It's so pretty. Even just driving on the highway is gorgeous. But I also now like to plan stops at some areas like national parks. In particular on this trip, Zion National Park. Good afternoon from Zion National Park in Utah. I was here in August, but at that point you could only take a shuttle to different places, and I didn't have a shuttle ticket, so now I can drive. If you've never been to Zion or never been to Zion in the winter when you can drive the scenic trail, I highly recommend it. It's stunning, and there's all these little stopping points where you can get pictures. Today was a fairly short day. I was done driving by 6. I'm already checked into my hotel, and the good news, they have the CW, which means I can watch the season premiere of Legacies tonight on an actual television and not my iPad. Tip number 6. Find joy in the little things. It will keep you entertained. And that's not even just a road trip tip. That's a tip for generally in life. I am probably one of the most easily amused people you will ever see. The second I see an animal off the side of the highway, I will say hi to the cows from my car where I am alone driving. Cows off the highway. Hi, cows. Yeah, I'll wave at the cows on the highway. So find joy in those little things. Today is day 7, last day. I'm only about 5.5 hours from Burbank. I am in St. George, Utah for the morning. I'm at a park with ducks. So many ducks. I love ducks. Someone just showed up with a bag of food for the ducks, and they have now all flocked over there. And it's like a big rush to be the first ones to get to the food. Tip number 8 is a pandemic-related tip, and that is know the restrictions in your destination. If you're going on vacation or if you are traveling to go home like I was, know if you have to quarantine. And also know that even if you don't have to, you probably still should. And make sure you're prepared for that. I'm about to leave St. George, Utah. I just stocked up on a ton of groceries. I had non-perishables. You can't even see all of so many groceries. I had non-perishables that I had stocked up on before I left, but I got a bunch of produce since I'm only a few hours from LA and I'll be quarantined once I get back. I also got a fun drink. It's a Sun Devil Diet Pepsi, which is Diet Pepsi with cinnamon and grenadine, and it's very good. Tip number 7. Know how far you can go on a tank of gas and know how long it's going to be before you see another gas station. If you're going through a deserted area, like a desert, usually there are signs on the highway that will let you know 96 miles until next service is. So make sure that you are filling up your gas tank enough, especially if you're going through someplace like Texas, which I did not go through on this trip. It was in some of the earlier versions, but that one also got cut out. I've been through Texas before. You can go hours without seeing a soul, so make sure that you are always filling up. I did still go through some desert on this trip though. Just made my last stop for gas. I thought I was gonna be able to wait all the way until I get to my favorite rest stop. Yes, I have a favorite rest stop. And realized, that's kind of pushing it. So I stopped at the world's largest Chevron. They have over 95 pumps for gas. It's insane. The inside was also huge and they had very clean restrooms. Just finished my last meal in the car at Eddie World, my favorite rest stop with the big ice cream thing. Love this place. 2 hours to Burbank. My last tip is about luggage. When you're traveling by car, you really don't need a big bulky suitcase that you have to take in and out of the car into every hotel you stop in. I recommend having 3 bags, smaller bags, a car bag, a hotel bag, and a dirty clothes bag. The car bag stays in your car and has all of the outfits you plan on wearing throughout your trip, preferably in an order similar to when you might need them. The hotel bag goes in and out of the hotel with you, and you take an outfit from the car bag every day and put it into the hotel bag, so you only have what you need for that one. And then in the morning when you get back to your car, you throw the dirty clothes into the dirty clothes bag, and then you can replenish from the car bag into the hotel bag. That saves you from having to lug your big suitcase all over the place. I'm home. I haven't gotten out of the car yet, but I got a good parking spot outside my apartment, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, I won't be traveling again for a little while at least, but I do have some other videos in the works, so subscribe if you want to see more.